Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Klein Connect here, along with head coach Steve Jennings, of course. And coach, a trip down to Mason City, Iowa, resulted in a sweep for the Wings. Start on Friday night with a 4-3 shootout win, the fourth time this season that the Wings and Bulls have gone to a shootout, and all four of them have been won by the Wings. You got 2 power play goals on Friday night. Penalty kill was 1 of 3, or killed off all but 1 of 3. A really strong second period. What you think of? I know we talk about not being able to, or not picking apart a win, but there's got to be some things that
For sure. You always want a better start on the road, right? And I think what you saw this weekend from the group was resilience in action, right? And when we talk about coming and learning how to get in the fight, stay in the fight, and finish it, I think you saw that there, right? And I think the starts weren't terrible. They just, like, we want to start with a bit more of a push than we got, and I think we played a team that was pretty desperate and pushing, and they also had, for the first time since December, they had a pretty full lineup with all their vets back, and so you can see the difference in their team, and they were really pushing hard, so it was good.
Okay, well, we move on. By the way, Will Gilson with the game winner in the shootout, and then we go on to Saturday night, another 4-3 win. This time went to overtime. Didn't need the shootout, but went to overtime on Saturday. Dug out from an early deficit, down 2-0. Another strong second period, and again, Gilson with the game winner there in overtime. Thoughts on Saturday night's matchup?
No, I thought Saturday was better than Friday. Obviously, I thought those 2 goals we gave up early, like one's a fluky kind of. We fan on clearing a puck, hits a stanchion weird, bounces right to him. Second one, hard play at the net, and our D's tangled with one of their guys, pushes our goalie into the corner. Like, it's hard hockey, and not making excuses. They're just odd opportunities that happen, and they happen right on top of each other. Really like the fact that the guys pushed back right away and just stayed engaged in it. Gilson, wasn't happy with himself early, and got us right back up on the scoreboard there. And I think we're starting to see a lot of that sort of pride from the guys, right? When they're not happy, they want to push back and find that. And again, I thought we kind of continued to push through the whole game there.
Well, we talk about unity and growth as a team, and I feel like playing for each other, it means something, and I know that that's kind of cliche because it's often said, but you can kind of see it from these guys. Like you said, that Gilson was upset with his, with himself from an earlier mistake or whatever. He puts a little extra effort on, like, to make it up for the boys. Yep. It really becomes a factor, doesn't it, when these guys start to gel and really become a team?
Yeah, and they all start to recognize whatever my opportunity is. Right, then I'm going to maximize it. You put, OC goes out Friday night in the shootout and just daggers the kid right away. I mean, that was awesome, and that was his opportunity to make a contribution. He wanted it, and did a great job with it, right? And that's what as we're starting to really see it pull together, that's what it starts to look like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, like you said, that's a last place team that really didn't play like it. I mean, they were tough games. Do you think that games like those become almost beneficial down the stretch? Like you mentioned, resilience. It seems like when you're going to shootouts as many times as you guys have, and overtime as many times, I believe right now 13 overtime games is second only to Lone Star, who's got a ridiculous 17 overtime games this season. There's a handful with 12, but with the Wings going to overtime and a shootout both Friday and Saturday, you're in second in that category. Does that mean something to you guys later on in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at how the season's going to end and then push into playoffs, and you actually want a group that's been tested, right, and has had to fight to get there. Sometimes when you push right in, and I won't say it's easy, but you're not facing this constant adversity. When you actually hit real adversity, it becomes a challenge.
Sure.
You look at the Patriots years back, right? They had that perfect season going. They really hit, competition in the playoffs there in the NFL. And then when that happened in the playoffs, they failed, right? But they hadn't had that, and they had a great team. And I think they're not the only ones in history, right? But when you look at teams that are tremendous like that, sometimes there is that want to have some adversity, because adversity is as good of a teacher as success is, right? Yeah. And I think the big thing that adversity teaches the guys is how to get success through something that could easily turn into failure. right? Zach and I were talking, like, I think had we played those games in the fall, we probably lose one or both of those, right? That's where the stick-to-itiveness is starting to come out, and guys aren't bending and giving. And even, there were times after they scored those first 2 goals on Saturday, puck was in. When we had the puck in their zone, I felt like we were running them over. When it came into our zone, I felt like they were starting to run us over, right? And so that's not giving in to that and then finding a way to push back. That's the important thing.
It felt like, I think I even used the word teeter-totter. It just felt like there was this,
For that first period, I was happy to get in the locker room.
Yeah.
Right, we got in the locker room, and I think we settled down, and I think, that was really good. And then we had a talk, after the second period, I had a talk with our older guys and about what we were looking for. And what I loved is those guys all stepped up and delivered a great third period, and we got the result we needed.
Where do you think you're seeing the most improvement? Is there an area? Maybe it's energy. Maybe it's face-off wins. Maybe is there an area that you're seeing specific improvement?
I think like when you go back and look at our energy stats. So I think we're now to 7 straight games or 8 straight games with our energy being over 100, nice. Which is a really good energy stat for us. So that comes from us, getting bumps and hits on guys, blocking shots, not avoiding those categories. So we're starting to see a good result with that. And with that, even in the games that we're tight, when that energy number is up, it's really good.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to just stay with that, and that's going to be an important thing. So that consistency has been really good, and that consistency allows us to have better puck possession, better zone time, and make more of those things. And then some of the teaching that we've really been focusing on, over the season, we're actually starting to see it in action on video here, which is great too.
Without a doubt. Okay. Well, the standings look like this. St. Cloud at the top of the division with 67 points and 50 games played. Wings in second with 60 points and 52 games played. Austin with 57 points and 53 games played. Minot with 57 points, 54 games played. Bismarck with 51 points and 52 games played, while North Iowa again at the bottom of the Central Division with 50 points and 52 games played. So again, very, very close as it has been all year. Austin currently sitting in third. They come to the ODI Center this weekend. It's Parents' Weekend, and we're going to talk about the Teddy Bear Toss here in just a minute, too, because that's on Saturday night. But what has film told you about Austin? What does this team do well that you have to be prepared for?
Yeah, even our experiences with them, right? They're always energetic games. There's always a good push there. They're physical games. They have some guys with some skill who can contribute, and they have solid goaltending. So, we'll have to be complete like we've been, and just going to have to be ready to play our game.
Okay. Well, Teddy Bear Toss is on Saturday night. It's a game that everyone always looks forward to. I've got to ask you though, what's your prediction? Who's gonna be the one?
Well, who's gonna be the guy?
Mm-hmm. Make it rain.
I'd love to say me, but I can't.
Who's got the lucky feeling that they're going to be the one to make it rain?
Hadn't thought about that, but I would say if I was going to bet, there's a couple of guys I would probably bet on because they're just early goers. I would bet on a guy like Ronan Walsh or Cade, would be there. But Gilly's had a hot hand here recently as well, so that I would probably put some money on those 3. But the sleeper in that would probably be O'Connell.
Yeah.
OC's been heating up here, so he's probably my sleeper choice.
All right, I like that. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Well, Coach, again, that's about all I've got for you here. We've got Austin coming up this weekend. Obviously, you guys will have your work cut out for you to get prepared for them. Big weekend at home with Parents Weekend and all the festivities and everything, and we'll talk about that.
And the Shriners coming as well, right?
Well, which is really the Teddy Bear Toss. Yeah, Teddy Bear Toss.
Which is good.
Shriners Children's Miracle Network, Shriners Children's Hospital. It will be the recipient of the Teddy Bear Toss.
Which is awesome. And I am a former patient, so I love that. And it's really good. So
I knew that, and I knew that I was going to ask you if the Teddy Bear Toss has any, maybe a little bit more special or a little bit more meaning because of that.
For sure. I walked because of the Shriners. My dad's told me that repeatedly. I was at the beach and kind of walked through an old fire that hadn't been properly extinguished, got burns on my feet, and wound up being treated in the Shriners burn unit in Boston. So
wow. All right.
So come give a teddy bear.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
A bunch. I've seen people that are actually like collecting them from other people too. They have bags just full of them. So that's awesome.
That's the highlight of my wife's week this week. We're going to go teddy bear shopping. So it's good.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for your time, and good luck against Austin.
All right, thanks, Jay.
We'll return with the second portion of Wings Weekly coming up after this.
We raise the bar on bar food with sandwiches, tenders, and there's more where this came from. To the greatest of all times.
Second portion of Wings Weekly continues on, and as usual, a player is joining me. This time it is Dominic Schimizzi of Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Thanks so much for taking some time to join us.
No problem.
All right. Well, you are the most recent addition to the Wings. Johnstown last year, and then Amarillo the first part of this year. So you've got some NAHL experience for sure. What were your first thoughts when you found out you were coming to Aberdeen, South Dakota?
I was actually super excited. It was at the Top Prospects Showcase or tournament, and I was actually laying down to take my pregame nap before our first game, and my coach calls me, and it's funny. I was actually rooming with one of my best friends, Logan Cleary, who's still at Amarillo, and before I even answered the phone call, I was joking around with him. I go, "Oh, got traded," as a joke, and I answer it, and he's like, Schimizzi, can you just come see me in the lobby? Like, I'm just gonna talk over some things with you. And I'm like, all right, Claire, you got traded. As a joke, completely. Get down there.
That's so much of a joke.
Yeah, I get down there and he tells me, I got traded, but like he has a really good relationship with the coaches here, and that like he's trusting them with like kind of getting my deal done. Which fortunately I ended up getting that deal done right after the Top Prospects. But I was just super excited just because where it was in Amarillo, it was like we didn't have all these banners. Like I said that in the first interview, like when you come here, you have all these banners in the rafters, and it's just like that's kind of just a staple of like the culture here. And I knew that I was coming into something that's already rolling, so I can kind of just contribute to that rather than having to get the ball rolling.
What's it like coming in the locker room? Like I said, these guys have played 40 games. 39 games roughly before you arrived, and they all know each other and stuff. I know, generally speaking, it's kind of known that they're usually really welcoming and everything. But is it hard to kind of find a niche with this group?
Well, one thing about this group is there's not cliques.
Yeah.
There's no cliques. It's everyone's best friends with each other, and I feel like that made it really easy, as well as just kind of like everyone kind of has that common goal, or like we know that we want to win the Robertson Cup. And anything less than that is kind of not where you want to be.
Right.
So it was really easy to kind of come in here and just become brothers with everybody. And like I said, there's no cliques, so it's not like picking a group. Right. Rather than I came in here and I became part of the 27 guys.
Right. The whole team. That's great to hear. All right. Well, I always ask everybody, how'd you get started in hockey? Was there a family member or somebody that kind of inspired you to and kind of helped you down that path, or how did you get going?
I feel like it's a common thread is that maybe your dad plays hockey, or your grandpa, or your uncle, or your brother, or something. My dad happened to play hockey growing up, and I have a pond in my backyard, so you know how that goes. I was about 2 years old, just learned how to walk pretty much, got thrown on the pond. He put as many layers, coats on me as I could. Sure, I could kind of figure out that it's okay to fall down. It doesn't hurt you, and you just kind of go from there.
Excellent. Okay, well, you mentioned your deal. Robert Morris University commit. What was it about them that appealed to you, that after talking with them, and of course they're interested, but what do you know about that program, and have you, did you have any other options that where you chose Robert Morris?
I live about 45 minutes away from Robert Morris.
Okay.
My sister also went to Robert Morris.
Okay.
And growing up, when I played for the Penns Elite program, when I originally went to Penns Elite, before they moved to the Lemieux Sports Complex,
right,
they played at the Island,
okay,
where RMU plays. So I was a kid. I was watching them play. I would talk to their coach. Like their coach would talk to us, like as a group,
sure,
kind of just we're just a bunch of kids, trying to figure it out. And that always kind of stuck in the back of my head as well, as just like watching them when I was younger, and kind of if I went back 5 years and somebody told me that I would have the chance to play at RMU, I would take that. I would take that in a second.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's kind of the way I thought about it, as well as kind of, as you know, like they kind of lost their funding. Mm-hmm. The president pulled the funding randomly. My sister was actually working for them at the time, not for the team, but working for RMU at the time. Mm-hmm. And she found out the same time as all the players and everything, all the staff. It was just an email that was sent out, and there was a little line that just said pulled funding from women's hockey, men's hockey. And
that was a shock. We had guys that were committed and ready to go, and it was like, whoa, now what? You know, that was a big deal for sure.
So kind of to be a part of that resurrection, you could say, is, I feel like, would be really special to me, like later in life, as well as just kind of being a part of this inaugural RMU season again.
Yeah. Getting it started, getting the program growing again. That's awesome. Awesome to hear that you've got history with them too. I love that. That's really cool. All right. How about when you're away from the rink? Do you have any hobbies? I know a lot of guys are gamers. Some of people are outdoorsmen. They like to fish, whatever. When you have any hobbies or interests?
It's crazy. Honestly, it kind of depends on the week.
Yeah.
What I'm doing. It's like, I could play video games one week. I'm enrolled in classes, so it depends. Maybe if I'm flooded with homework, got homework to do.
Right.
In the summers, I love to slalom ski.
Okay.
I feel like that's pretty big here, actually. Maybe because there's like lakes and it's just flat, or there is maybe a lake.
No, we have there's 2 lakes. They're fairly smaller, but not big lakes by any means. But yeah, we do a lot of water skiing and stuff. There are recreational areas for sure.
I really like to also snow ski, snowboard.
Not so much of that around here, though.
It was pretty funny. It was when I got here, coming from Amarillo, there's absolutely no snow, barely. Yeah. There was probably like 6 inches of snow on the ground, and I'm like, wow, I need to go skiing. I need to figure out if I can go skiing. I look it up, and it's like 3 hours away, and it's just like a little pebble hill. And I'm like, yeah, no, thank you.
That would be Alexandria, Minnesota, I'm thinking. There's great skiing out in the Black Hills, but that's 6 hours, so that's a little bit of a trek. Oh, let's see. What sport? You talked about skiing and stuff. But maybe it's a professional sport. Maybe it isn't. Whatever. What's your favorite sport other than hockey? Is there a team that you follow or sport that you follow closely?
Honestly, with it being March Madness, I love watching college basketball during March Madness. During the rest of the year, it kind of fizzles out, and I don't really get around to watching it. But honestly, again, like my life is just revolved around hockey. Yeah. So it's just, Pittsburgh Penguins, obviously. So, might get a little bit of hate for that one, but.
Oh, well. Yeah, I've been hearing the guys all weekend talking about their brackets, and I was just like groaning because I had Kentucky to win it all. And so I was pretty upset. And listening to Doobie and those guys talking about how well their brackets are doing, I'm like, man. Okay, how about playlist? It sounds like you've got interest kind of all over the place and a pretty wide spectrum of interests and so on. How about music? What are your
honestly? Music's kind of pretty similar. Like, so I do have like a computer at my build house. I actually brought up, but it's like a big computer. 2 screens, full immersion.
Nice. Okay.
But a lot of times I'll sit on there and I'll have my headphones in, listen to music. So. If I'm on there for a couple hours a day, I can't listen to rap music the whole time.
Right.
Having someone scream in my ear the whole time. So I like to switch it up. Go with like some acoustic music, like reggae stuff maybe. I'm just trying to relax. Reggae. But like it's not
Bob
just like
Marley
it's
stuff?
not different than Bob Marley. Like,
okay.
But it's just kind of all over the board.
Yeah.
I feel like. Broaden your horizons. I don't know.
Yeah, probably the 3rd or 4th person that we've talked to this year that has had very eclectic music tastes, and they're kind of all over the place. That's awesome. Like you said, broaden horizons, be well-rounded. Okay, how about superstitions? You have any superstitions when it comes to getting ready or anything like that?
I feel like I'm a big ice bath guy. So I take about say it's game weekend. Thursday, our day before our pregame skate, our game.
Yep.
Take an ice bath after the practice, and then I'll take an ice bath before the game. I take an ice bath after the game.
That's a lot of ice. It's just your billet house have like one of those hotel ice machines, or
well,
what?
It's nice because we got ice in the in that tub, but you can ask my billets. I bought probably like 60 pounds of ice so far. But it's just, your body gets beat up, especially at this time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys are like, their hips are killing me, stuff like that. And it's a matter of just maintaining your body. And I feel like that's one thing that I've learned, as you said, going from Johnstown to Amarillo to now here. Johnstown, the best players were the guys that were always maintaining their bodies. Mm-hmm. And we were always taking these ice baths and stretching. And, I didn't really play a ton when I was at Johnstown. So I had that chance to kind of observe those guys.
Very cool. Okay. Yeah, that I can see where that would definitely give you an advantage to watch guys, veterans, that how they prepare. Like you said, it's a long season, and the body gets wore down for sure. But no superstitions like putting, like only the left side on first or anything like that.
I have some superstitions, but honestly, it's just like I kind of like to stay in a routine when it's game days. Like I'll say to some guys, that might not do something one day, I'm like, don't mess with tradition.
Right.
That's something my dad always says. He's like, just don't mess with tradition.
There's a line in the movie Bull Durham where he talks about if a player thinks they're winning because of something, then they are. It's like there's a routine or some superstition or whatever. If they feel like they're on a win streak because of this thing, that mentally that's a thing. So I feel like that's actually kind of true. So Anyway, let's see. How about animals? You an animal person? You a cat or dog?
Oh boy.
Not so much.
So I got 5 wiener dogs at the moment. So my mom actually breeds wiener dogs.
Okay.
So I don't even know how it came to happen. Like me and my dad had no say in it. But over time we just started building up more and more wiener dogs. So now like when you open the door, just like a flood of like dogs up to your ankles. But for that reason, I have to go with dogs.
Yeah.
And my sister actually just recently moved into with her her husband now in Kansas City, and she brought our cat with her. So now we're just a dog family. It's kind of nice.
Flooded with wiener dogs. I love that image. It's just like.
It's exactly what you think.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, I got a couple of food-related questions for you here. What if you had one food, only one kind of food that you could eat, you had to eat for an entire year, nothing else? What would you choose to be for that one food to be?
It's actually pretty funny. Like I've actually done this before.
Okay.
Like I've only eaten buffalo chicken sandwiches for like 2 weeks. Like I'm not even kidding. Buffalo chicken sandwich and buffalo chicken wrap. I racked up.
You are a riddle wrapped in an enigma, because you're everywhere. Every other question I've asked, you're like, oh, I like to rotate it and move it around, and then you ask about food.
But
and
the
it's
buffalo chicken sandwich is different. I feel like I don't know. Like you can ask Kate. I'm like putting buffalo sauce on everything, and I'm like telling Sabrina, I'm like, all right, buffalo chicken, buffalo chicken. It's just. There's a gas station really close to my house called Sheetz. It's like a thing over like towards Pennsylvania.
East Coast, sure.
And I would go there before a workout, get a buffalo chicken wrap, eat like half of it, eat the rest after. And it was just like didn't even think anything of it. I would just go there, go out. Then I figured out that our Sheetz bill was like $600 one month, and my parents were not really not happy with me, so I had to cut that down a little bit. But that was the 2 weeks where I ate buffalo chicken wrap for pretty much.
So if you had to eat it for an entire year, are you going with that?
I feel like you got it. Like my body's pretty used to it, so it wouldn't be like that different.
Okay, there we go. So well, that actually. My next question was going to be a guilty pleasure food, like something that you probably shouldn't eat a whole lot of, but you love to have it, or like maybe it's a candy or whatever. Would the answer be the same?
No.
No? Okay.
Because I know the buffalo chicken wraps are good for me.
Okay.
Honestly, like I would say to Shuey about like cookie cakes. Because for my birthday, I like always specifically asked for cookie cakes, because my sister's birthday is right after mine. So she would get the big sheet cake.
Yeah.
But I would get the cookie cake, and I would eat all of it before anybody else could get any of it. Just because it was like, I loved the cookie cake.
So cookie cake, the guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
like now if I eat too much of it, I get a really bad stomach ache. But so that's the guilty pleasure.
There you go. Okay. Well, I talked to Coach just a little bit ago. Teddy Bear Toss coming up on Saturday night. Always a huge game. The crowd's always great, and a lot of people really enjoy coming to that game. Do you have a prediction? Who is going to be the one to score the goal that makes it rain teddy bears?
I feel like, Gaff's just hot, man. He's got the hot stick, so I'm just going to have to say Gaff, for sure. Like, he's due.
I 100%.
He's due for, like, a teddy bear goal.
Okay. I 100% expected you to say, well, I'm going to, of course.
You can't say yourself. You kidding me?
Okay.
Except Steve did say himself, but he
That's
did
true.
say himself originally.
Kind of tough to score from the bench, though. Okay, we've got Austin coming up, as I mentioned, with the Teddy Bear Toss and a big weekend on the way here at the OD Ice Center. What do you feel like as a team that you guys need to do? I ask every player this, and it usually kind of the same or similar question, but, you're coming off of a sweep over North Iowa, got some confidence rolling. You've been through some adversity and have shown resilience. What do you think it is that you guys as a team have to do against a team like, against the Austin Bruins?
I think, with how many games are left in the season, 8 games, this is a perfect opportunity, coming off a sweep. We could really get the ball rolling, keep our foot on the gas pedal and, get something going. I heard that, I know Cade told me that this group hasn't been able to really string a lot of wins together. And I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to finally break through that.
Yeah.
And, get some wins strung together so we can, go into playoffs, on a high note with the ball rolling.
That's a very good point, because there's been a lot of wins. I mean, there's the Wings, obviously, sitting in second place, have had success, but there have been times where there's a little letdown on a weekend, and they kind of let one slide or whatever. And like you said, stringing them together, this is a great opportunity for it. Like you said, get a bit of a streak going, huh? Great. Okay. Well, hey, that's about all I've got for you. I really appreciate you coming on, though, and taking some time. I know you guys are busy, and like you said, taking care of the body and maintaining it as this time of the year and this time of the season is always a challenge too. But so thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, the Wings finish March at the OD Ice Center this weekend as we host the Austin Bruins. Doors open at 5:30 both Friday and Saturday night, with the puck hitting the ice at 7:15. Friday, it's our first responders night. Any area first responders receive $5 general admission ticket at the door. The Wings welcome Dakota Broadcasting as the game's corporate sponsor inside the Automax party deck. Plus, join the team for the post-game party at Buffalo Wings and Rings. On Saturday, it is the annual Teddy Bear Toss. Bring those teddy bears and get ready to throw them onto the ice when the Wings score their first goal. We welcome the Yilda Shrine as the game's corporate sponsor inside the Automax party deck. Plus, fans should stick around after the game for game-worn jersey auction. Get your tickets ahead of the weekend's games online at tickets.aberdeenwings.com or at the door on game nights. You can also get $10 general admission tickets at any Sea Express location in Aberdeen with additional purchase. We also want to remind fans of the 2021-22 Aberdeen Wings Award Banquet happening on Sunday, March 27th at the Yilda Shrine Center. Doors open at 5:30 and dinner starts at 6. Don't forget, Wings Weekly is now a podcast. Find the audio for this season's episodes on Spotify, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit aberdeenwings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok. Once again, Dominic Schimizzi, I really appreciate you joining us, and best of luck against Austin.
Thank you very much.
All right, folks, that'll do it for this week's Wings Weekly.